Hello there. So this is a game I played that had an interesting checkmate position at the end, using only a bishop and pawn. I've played a lot of chess games over the years, and I don't see this very often. I can't remember another time I saw it, so I thought it was sort of special, a good checkmate pattern to memorize. And but let's start at the beginning here. So I'm not gonna go over every detail or anything. I don't normally move that many pawns right away, but this pawn being here kind of made me make some adjustments. But I put my knight here, thinking that I would like if they would trade, and if they don't trade the knight, then what do they? Because they've moved these two pawns, right? What can they trade if they want to dislodge this knight? Because it's going to be a little annoying, kind of somewhat in their base. I guess they could go like this. Yeah, it's a couple moves. I would probably do that if I were them. I mean, I don't do this because I don't want them to put a knight here. It's a little annoying. And so I would probably do this, but anyway, was hoping they would just trade, which they did, because I like having the bishop pair. And, I mean, I don't really mind that my rook is now pointed at something, so, like, for example, they're not, now they have one less option, they can't really castle queenside or whatever. Well, they can figure it out somehow, but it makes it a little less comfortable to do so. So I don't mind it too bad. Yeah, get castled despite these pawns. Now I'm a little less worried again because the whole queenside thing. If they can castle queenside and they had these pawns here already, it would be a bit dangerous. So that's why I was sort of adjusting my play a little bit. I moved the knight back, thinking they'll probably exchange. So I just like having the bishop pair, especially if we get towards the end game. I mean, it's well known that, and I'm not saying I'm a good player, but good players like grandmasters tend to prefer having the bishop pair. So if I have the bishop pair against them having a bishop and knight getting towards the end game, that could be an advantage. And particularly the bishops are good at like harassing rooks, I find, if you have the bishop pair. Okay, so they are launching the full-scale attack on my king side now. However, their king doesn't really have anywhere to go. Now again, this is not meant to be like an example of the most interesting game ever or good play or anything. This was a blitz game. But again, I thought the checkmate pattern at the end was worth remembering. So, and yeah, I can't stop them from making a pretty decent attack here against my position. I'm not too happy doing this because they can en passant, and now we're in this position. And honestly, if they start pushing this pawn here, which is what I would do if I were them, it's pretty awkward because if I just take, I mean, he'll have a devastating attack against me. And then, so if I move this forward, I guess we trade the pawns. I mean, my king side will be so weak at that point. So I think that's really the best plan for white here, and I think I would be probably losing. De-dum. So this was sort of a silly move by me, maybe. Everything is just getting worse for me and not looking good. There's a bunch of moves. Yep, that's a bunch of moves. Hoping to trade the queens to kind of dull their attack a little bit, which is good for me, I think, because it If they had coordinated a bit better, they could have easily made a very devastating attack. And yeah, this is all very awkward for me. I am very uncomfortable. And I'm trying to make their rook here uncomfortable, which kind of is. So, but I mean, we just trade some pieces. And I believe I'm down by 2 points. Let's see. But I have this idea of sort of trading off the bishops here and then pushing my pawn here. Pushing this pawn forward is my idea. They have a pawn. I wasn't really thinking about it because I was just too focused on myself. But luckily, this is the right bishop to protect this square, so that's good. And pushing the pawn. And already here, see, if I had memorized the checkmate pattern, I would already know what I want to do, I think. Which is, so I thought, well, I push here, they move here, then I still have to protect here or something. But no. Do you see what I should do if that happens? Pause it and think. And so I did not see a good continuation there. Because, I mean, I was thinking of ideas like this and then take the knight. But then they just queen. So I protect. They move over here. I'm like, well, now I have kind of ideas of checkmate. I can go here and then over and then boom. And in comes the knight. But I realized, wait a second. I don't have to prepare by moving the king over here. I just go, boom, immediate checkmate. And this pawn and bishop checkmate. Good pattern to remember. Pawn. The pawn needs to be protected, of course, by something. But, oh yeah, and I didn't realize it's also this square is the one that is not being hit by the bishop and pawn. So you will have to take that square with something, or protect it with something. But a good pattern to memorize, because had I seen it, let's see, here already, I probably would have just done this, thinking that if they move here, instant checkmate. And then I suppose they could have moved here, in which case, boom, here, which they can take, but then I get my queen, or la-di-dee, la-di-da. Oh, sorry, not that one. This one, I mean, they have to move here if they want to protect the square. So then, yeah, I think I got good, at least good counterplay, if not just winning. Yeah, maybe winning. That's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.